Today, you often hear about how diversity is a strength, and it is, and how different cultures coming together, that's a good thing, and it is. And actually, a long time ago, Pope John the 23rd, the Pope who called the Second Vatican Council, would talk about this a lot. But I think one thing that we don't realize is there are dangers associated with it, right? Even Pope Francis and Pope Leo talk about how if different cultures come into a wider culture, they need to integrate. That's one of the pillars that Pope Francis talked about, and Pope Leo, of just immigration, is you need to integrate to the wider culture. But Pope John the 23rd talked about some of the dangers in diversity being our strength that we need to keep in mind when we're pursuing this good. He says in Pacem In Terris, number 65, an excessive concern for the rights of any particular individuals or groups might well result in the principal advantages of the state being in effect monopolized by these citizens. So we see marginalized individuals and we're like, oh, the state needs to do something about it. But it'd be very wrong if the state excessively looks out for any one group. That's wrong. That's a wrong thing. And in section 97, he goes on. It is worth noting, however, that these minority groups, the ones that are in the broader culture that trying to preserve their identity, in reaction perhaps to the enforced hardships of their present situation or to historical circumstances, frequently tend to magnify unduly characteristics proper to their own people. They even rate them above those human values which are common to all mankind, as though the good of the entire human family should subserve the interests of their own particular group. A more reasonable attitude for such people to adopt would be to recognize the advantages, too, which accrue to them from their own special situation. They should realize that their constant association with people steeped in a different civilization from their own has no small part to play in the development of their own particular genius and spirit. Little by little, they can absorb into their very being those virtues which characterize the other nation, the bigger one that they're coming into. But for this to happen, these minority groups must enter into some kind of association with people in whose midst they're living, and learn to share their customs and ways of life. It will never happen if they sow seeds of disaffection, which can only produce a harvest of evils, stifling the political development of nations.